but not panicking. That's the sentiment in Abaco and Bimini as the northern Bahamas is now under a tropical storm warning, with Hurricane Milton on the move. And stormy skies impacting aviation, as Milton is also impacting flights in Florida and here in the Bahamas. Plus, the evening evacuation, our exclusive coverage outside the Grand Bahama International Airport, where we spoke with students who were evacuated from Orlando. And then in our news at 7:30, Grand Bahama gears up as their Emergency Operations Center has been activated. We have the details. All that and more as Our News Live at 7 starts now. Ferocious Hurricane Milton takes aim at Tampa and Orlando, with tropical storm conditions expected in the northwest Bahamas. Welcome to Our News Live at 7, and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Marlena Leonard, in for Candino Knowles. Monster storm Milton could arrive on Florida's west coast as early as tomorrow, bringing destructive 10 to 15-foot surge, described as unsurvivable. Residents on the coast being told to evacuate at least 10 miles from the coast. The storm's massive reach prompting a tropical storm warning for Grand Bahama, Bimini, and Abaco. Here are the developing stories around Hurricane Milton we're closely following for you. The northwest Bahamas is kicking into high gear, prepping for the potential threat. A plane load of Florida college students landing late last night, just in the nick of time. And know before you go, airlines are cutting flights as some airports begin shutting down. Now, as you keep those things in mind, let's head over to the Weather Center for the latest. Meteorologist Greg Thompson is here. Greg, this afternoon, a tropical storm warning was issued for Grand Bahama, Bimini, and Abaco. Walk us through what that means for those islands and what exactly is the level of risk?
Well, the level of risk is we do expect the tropical storm conditions to be brushing those extreme northern islands. Bimini, Grand Bahama, and the Abacos, of course, those winds will be 39 miles per hour plus, and that's going to pose a problem. Also, we do expect those rain bands to be affecting those areas beginning tomorrow evening and into Thursday. We had some showers earlier today, but most of those showers are associated with a low-pressure system that the National Hurricane Center is watching. But these are the conditions expected with Milton's and Pac. Tropical storm warnings in effect for those islands, as I mentioned. Gale watch is in effect for the remainder of the northwest Bahamas, and we expect very rough seas out there, 12 to 18-foot seas, mostly in the Atlantic. Of course, flooding, severe weather, coastal erosion expected with this system, and possible tornadic activity as well expected as well. This is what we are looking at. Milton is well down towards the southwest. It's Category 4 and strengthened, continuing to strengthen. It's going to continue to strengthen as it moves towards the next portion of the west coast of Florida. But you see, we've got some clearing. That low-pressure system has moved out. And, of course, those showers and those rain bands will begin to affect us by tomorrow.
Well, forecasters are predicting storm surge even on Florida's east coast in our very own backyard. Can you tell us a little bit more detail for the potential for rain, wind, and flooding in those three islands?
Winds, as I mentioned, tropical storm conditions across the extreme northern islands. Gale warnings expected, or gale watch expected for the remainder of the islands. Rainfall expected anywhere from 4 to 6 inches, but we do expect isolated amounts up to 8 to 10 inches in some locations. So flooding is going to be a problem. We're asking you to exercise caution if you're moving around. And of course, tomorrow evening is when we do expect the bulk of this system to be affecting us. Make sure you stay input.
All right, thanks, Greg. Well, at this hour, the Disaster Recovery Management Authority is holding a news conference. Our Joshua Williams is live at the Gladstone Road headquarters. Josh?
Thanks, Marlena. Yes, we're here at the Disaster Management Authority's headquarters on Gladstone Road for a press briefing that was called late this afternoon. Now, just seconds before you tossed to me, Prime Minister Philip Davis would have arrived here. Now, it's the first press conference that government would have called addressing Hurricane Milton that now has the northern Bahamas under a tropical storm warning. That's the islands of Grand Bahama, Abaco, and Bimini, and it's certain that residents, especially in Grand Bahama and Abaco, still remember Hurricane Dorian. And so what we're expecting here tonight is a briefing from the Prime Minister to the nation, along with the Minister responsible, Leon Lundy. Now, a number of heavy hitters are here tonight, Marlena. We've seen a number of MPs, cabinet ministers, senators, even Commissioner Clayton Fernanda and Royal Bahamas Defense Force Commodore Dr. Raymond King. Now, we won't be carrying this press conference live here on television, but we invite you to tune into our Facebook page, where we'll be streaming live as soon as that press conference begins. Back to you, Marlena.
Thanks, Josh, and be sure and join us again at 7:30 for more on that news conference. As major Hurricane Milton barrels toward the western coast of central Florida, residents in the northern Bahamas preparing but not panicking today as Grand Bahama, the Abacos, and Bimini were under a tropical storm watch at the time of our interviews, now a tropical storm warning. We spoke to residents and officials in Abaco and Bimini who tell us how preparations are looking on those islands.
Storm 700 miles away from you, there's so many variables in its track, its future track, that you just got to wait and see.
Northern Bahamians are no stranger to storms, having weathered Dorian, Irma, and Matthew in recent years. Now, Hurricane Milton is a major hurricane roaring toward the western coast of central Florida. When it comes out the other side, it could pass just north of the northwestern Bahamas. With the northern Bahamas now under tropical storm watch, Silbert Mills, owner of Bahamas Christian Network, tells us prep is underway in Abaco.
And tomorrow being basically a lay day with regular conditions, it gives people adequate time to be able to install their shutters if the need arises.
Over in Bimini, preparations are also underway. Officer in charge of the Bimini Police Department, Superintendent Bernil Pinder, telling us they have a plan in place.
We are in a ready position. People in Bimini are on the ground and they are taking it seriously. They are preparing their homes for what it's worth. I can speak on behalf of the police. We have our team together and we have our plan.
Superintendent Pinder also says the Bimini Division's disaster team met this morning.
Which would have included NEMA officials, and it was just basically to get an update of the storm, where it is, and the projected path.
Milton is also impacting flights in Florida and here in the Bahamas. Officials at the Lynden Pindling International Airport say there's already been flight cancellations and delays from cities like Tampa and Orlando. Our Joshua Williams also has that angle.
Hurricane Milton has dominated headlines as the mega storm is barreling towards Florida. Today, several Florida airports closed as the state prepares for the monster storm. Nassau Airport Development Company VP of Operations Jonathan Hanna says many of those airports sent their last flights to LPIA today. Some of them were delayed.
Flights continue to operate in and out of LPIA with normal operations for us. Obviously, we're starting to see some cancellations and delays from some of the carriers, particularly in the Florida market. So Tampa area, Orlando, potentially even because of the size of the storm into Miami and Fort Lauderdale as well. And
nearly 300 students returning to Freeport and the capital last night on that Bahamas Air flight out of Orlando. Michael Cartwright is a college football player who returned on an American Airlines flight this morning.
Oh, it was smooth sailing. It wasn't really much to deal with.
I also spoke with an American visitor who says he's concerned for his fellow U.S. residents in Florida.
Worry about the weather, and my friend is in Tampa, said everything is blocked, no airport, no plane, everything is closed. And actually, so I went to JFK this morning, and the flight was in time, and the flight was fantastic.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Joshua Williams.
Issued important updates as Hurricane Milton continues to impact both Florida and the Bahamas. Hollingsworth expressed gratitude for the continued prayers for Bahamians in the storm's path, while also addressing the current situation for Bahamian citizens, students, and visitors in Florida.
There are still a number of people in Central Florida that are trying to make their way to South Florida with the hopes of a Bahamas Air flight from Fort Lauderdale or Miami. Worst case scenario, hotel accommodations. We are urging local Bahamians to follow the local advisories and protocol and to do their best to remain safe during these challenging times.
On Grand Bahama, all public schools are closed today and tomorrow as the island braces for the potential impacts of Hurricane Milton, which could begin impacting the area as early as tonight. Our Italia Hall is on the ground in Grand Bahama. Last night, the Our News team was the only station outside the Grand Bahama International Airport where we spoke with students who were evacuated from Orlando on a Bahamas Air flight before the storm reaches Florida.
We just needed a home because come.
It was an emotional scene outside the Grand Bahama International Airport on Monday night as Bahamian students living in Florida were evacuated from Orlando on a Bahamas Air flight. Parents began lining up as early as 7 p.m. to await the arrival of their children. The flight landed shortly after 9 p.m. Among those reunited were a mother and daughter visibly emotional as they greeted each other. Ida Barbs expressing her deep concern for her daughter's safety.
It feels good. To know that she's home with us because she lives in Tampa and she's all alone. So just to have her here is a good thing.
Her daughter, Nikitra Barb, shares after experiencing Hurricane Dorian, it was important for her to be home with her family. She adds the process of booking a flight with Bahamas Air was efficient.
It was quick, online, easy. I booked my flight and I made my way. It was a long drive to Orlando, but I made it, got there. fast and easy check-in, and they got us here safely.
Linnell Burnside expressed similar sentiments, noting her concern after witnessing the damage Hurricane Helene caused in some parts of Florida.
I'd rather be home than to be over there, so I was just glad that I had the opportunity to do so.
Grand Bahamian athlete Chavez Young, who lives in Florida, and University of Central Florida student Alexandre Russell say, with Hurricane Milton being a Category 5, it was a concern.
Because my place was near the water, so it was a good idea to evacuate and clear water. It was a Category 5, so I just want to get over there because I experienced Dorian and I don't experience that again.
And for student Diane Russell, he says it's just good to be home.
We wasn't really sure how far the water surge would have come, but yeah, my mom just wanted me home, just better safe than sorry.
Thanks, Italia. Now, be sure to stay tuned to Our News at 7:30, where our Italia Hall will have a live update from the now activated Emergency Operations Center in Grand Bahama. Darold Miller is a national hero. That's according to his former ZNS and Guardian Radio colleague Carlton Smith. Smith's praise of Miller came as he reflected on his life. Miller was found dead in his home on Minnie Street on Sunday. He was 69. Darold's career spanned many media houses, including the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas, Jones Communications, Guardian Radio, the Nassau Guardian, and even had a stint in media in the Turks and Caicos Islands.
Darold Miller is a national hero because he redefined what it means to be a journalist in this country, not a journalist in New Providence or a journalist in Grand Bahama. He was a journalist for the people in Inagua and Mayaguana, Acklands, Crooked Island, and Long Key, San Salvador, Rum Key, Exuma, Ragged Island, Eleuthera, New Providence, Grand Bahama, Abaco, Andros. He knew this archipelago, and the people in this archipelago knew him.
Still to come on Our Sports at 7, Rashad Sweeting will become the first Bahamian to ever compete in the sport's flagship event, the 2024-25 Paddy Power World Darts Championship. And then in world news, taking a look at the numbers. 1 year into Israel's war on Gaza as the death toll surpasses 40,000. That's coming up when Our News returns.
Hey, Greg Thompson here, and thank you for watching. Be sure to hit that follow button. And if you want to see more content like this, follow all of our news social media pages. And hey, don't forget to turn on your notifications so you never miss out on the top stories from the team you already trust.
Hey y'all, are you ready to be inspired? I am thrilled to announce that Inspire Her 2024 is coming, and it's going to be bigger and better than ever. Join us at the luxurious Atlantis Hotel Paradise Island on October 10th for an evening filled with inspiration, empowerment, and connection. The evening session promises to offer exclusive networking opportunities and transformative discussion. We invite everyone to attend and to be part of this incredible gathering. Hear from leading women activists, entrepreneurs, CEOs, thought leaders, and more as they share their stories, insights, and wisdom. Tickets are now available for purchase through the Alive Events app. Corporate packages and vendor opportunities are also available, providing a unique platform for businesses to showcase their support and connect with a diverse audience. Grab your girlfriends, mark your calendars for October 10th, and join us at the Inspire Her 2024 Women's Conference. See you there.
Welcome to Our Sports at 7, presented by 10th Year Seniors. I'm Ronaldo Dorset. Let's do show. We've become accustomed to Bahamian athletes taking the flag to the international stage and making history. This time, one's doing it in darts. Rashad Sweeting will become the first Bahamian to ever compete in the sport's flagship event, the 2024-25 Paddy Power World Darts Championship. Sweeting qualified by winning 2 of the 4 events on the Championship Darts Latin America and Caribbean Order of Merit Series. Over the weekend, he officially confirmed his spot in the World Champs after a semi-final finish at the latest CDLC event in Santiago, Chile. Every divisional series in the MLB playoffs is tied at 1 game apiece, setting the stage for one of those legendary postseason finishes. Jazz Chisholm Jr. hit the first postseason home run of his MLB career, but his New York Yankees showed few signs of life at the plate in a 4-2 loss to the Kansas City Royals last night in Game 2 of the American League Divisional Series. Chisholm and the Yankees remain confident headed on the road despite the Game 2 loss.
Still feels the same that we're going to win it, I don't feel like anybody feels any different, We're going to go out there and do our thing still. We still don't feel like any team is better than us. Like you said, we had a lot of missed opportunities tonight, so they just got lucky.
Tennis pro Justin Roberts hoisted a championship trophy in Florida. Roberts won on the latest stop on the Professional Tennis Tournament Tour's $25K Boca Raton title, hosted at the Rick Machi Academy and Tennis Center. The country's top singles player emerged as the top finisher in the men's draw, which featured 45 players. After a rough start to the season for several Bahamian players in the French Pro B League, they got back into the win column in Week 3. Dominic Bridgewater and Champagne Chalons won their first games of the season after beginning the year at 0-3. Rashad Davis and the Kane Calvados got a pair of wins to improve to 3-2. Aaron Lavardi had a near double-double, 12 points and 8 rebounds for Evero in an 83-81 loss to Rowan. That'll do it for our sports. Stay tuned to Our News at 7:30 for details on these stories and more.
When Our News comes back from the break, we turn our spotlight to stories making headlines across the world as Hurricane Milton impacts Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula. And Ukrainian drones attack Crimea's largest fuel transshipment hub, hoping to weaken Russian military capacity in the area. We have the details when Our News returns.
My name is Troy Williams. I've been a live fiber customer since March 2024. The installation process was seamless, effortless, and extremely fast. The gentlemen that came to the installation were very helpful, reliable, very knowledgeable, and the time allocated to do the installation was shorter than the time specified. Yeah, the previous provider I had, I noticed that the internet speed actually had intermittent on the services, so I was very grateful that the live fiber was available in my area. Once I was able to make the switch, my service and everything I needed was satisfied. My favorite feature would actually be being able to add any apps from the Play Store. It's just basically making any dumb TV a smart TV. I do a lot of back-end support, engineering support, helping clients working remotely when I'm from home. The internet is a very important aspect of my job and my life. My name is Trey Williams, and the future is home with a live fiber.
When hurricanes and emergencies strike, timely information can save lives. That's why Alive Business brings you bulk SMS messaging, your essential tool for staying informed and safe. Imagine having critical updates and safety tips delivered right to your phone, anytime and anywhere. With bulk SMS messaging, you can send real-time alerts and updates and timely notifications. When every second counts, count on Alive Business bulk SMS messaging. For more information, contact the experts. Are you ready for the stormy season? Don't wait until the storm clouds gather. Contact the experts at Alive Business today and let us help you prepare for this hurricane season. For a limited time only, you can get 50% off our Bahamas Cloud, the ultimate solution to secure your data and communications, ensuring they're accessible even in the worst of weather conditions. Don't let the storm catch you off guard this season. Stay ahead of the game with Bahamas Cloud from Alive Business.
This video needs to show
This is Our News. Welcome back. We turn our attention now to stories making headlines across the world. Hurricane Milton still a major storm, posing an immediate threat to Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula on its way to Florida, where the state has ordered mass evacuations while still recovering from the devastation of Hurricane Helene. Ryan Chang has more.
Florida ordered mass evacuations in the face of Hurricane Milton, which grew to a Category 5 storm Monday. In Madeira Beach, the streets were still full of debris from Hurricane Helene in late September, as locals braced for Milton. While Milton was still classed a tropical storm on Sunday, the U.S. National Hurricane Center says it explosively morphed into the strongest level storm on the 5-step Saffir-Simpson scale. On Monday, Milton skirted the northern edge of the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico on its way to Florida. It's predicted to make landfall on the western coast of Florida by Wednesday. The center's deputy director, Jamie Rome, warns there will be storm surges, flooding, and power outages.
If you're in this red area, you need to be in action mode. You need to be taking action to protect your house, to protect your family.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and President Biden declared emergencies for Florida. Over 500,000 people were ordered to evacuate in the state's largest evacuation since 2017, and large lines of vehicles were seen slowly moving out of the Tampa area Monday. Vice President and Democratic presidential nominee Kamala Harris urged people in the area to heed evacuation warnings.
And I cannot stress enough to all the folks in Florida, in the Tampa area, please listen to evacuation orders.
Israeli onslaught continues to raise massive human and material losses following the first anniversary of the Hamas attacks. According to data released on September 30th by Gaza's media office, the Israeli military has committed around 3,650 massacres over the past year. More than 41,800 people have been killed and nearly 100,000 injured, while 10,000 people are still missing or presumed dead under the rubble. Children make up 42% of the dead, women account for 27%, and men for 31%. Ukrainian drones attacked an oil depot in the Crimean city of Feodosia on Monday. The target was Crimea's largest fuel transshipment hub and will weaken Russian military capacity in the area, according to defense officials. It's the latest in a wave of attacks targeting Russian-controlled energy facilities. Russian-installed officials in Crimea have not confirmed the strike, but did acknowledge a fire at the facility. No casualties from the blast have been reported. A municipal-level emergency has been declared, with 300 people being evacuated from Feodosia due to the blaze. Still to come in our news, Today in History. Find out interesting facts about the day that was October 8th. And in our news at 7:30, our Delvardo Emmanuel speaks with Bahamians in Florida, some deciding to evacuate and others preparing to ride out the storm in place. That's coming up when Our News returns.
This video needs to show us on a different scale. It has to be extra.
What, eh?
Hey, Quay.
Hey, what you saying?
Where you with?
I heard you on the bus stop with my friend.
Okay, so we want to shoot this video, and it's gonna be extra.
All right, Jim. I can just come to you. All right. I need you 25 cents no more.
Hey y'all, are you ready to be inspired? I am thrilled to announce that Inspire Her 2024 is coming, and it's going to be bigger and better than ever. Join us at the luxurious Atlantis Hotel Paradise Island on October 10th for an evening filled with inspiration, empowerment, and connection. The evening session promises to offer exclusive networking opportunities and transformative discussions. We invite everyone to attend and to be part of this incredible gathering. Hear from leading women activists, entrepreneurs, CEOs, thought leaders, and more as they share their stories, insights, and wisdom. Tickets are now available for purchase through the Alive Events app. Corporate packages and vendor opportunities are also available, providing a unique platform for businesses to showcase their support and connect with a diverse audience. Grab your girlfriends, mark.
Welcome back to Our News. On this day in Bahamian history, on October 8, 1974, the Bahamas became a member of the Pan American Health Organization. Then, in 2021, a leaked document revealed there would be new guidelines for journalists seeking to interview the Prime Minister and members of his cabinet. And in 2018, a powerful earthquake measuring 5.9 on the Richter scale hit Haiti with shockwaves felt as far away as in Nagua in the southeastern Bahamas. For the full recap of today in history and for all of today's top stories, you can visit ournews.bs or Our News Bahamas on Facebook. That does it for Our News at 7. Joining us now is our Megan Shepherd with the latest headlines. Megan?
Thanks so much, Marlena. Well, all eyes are on Hurricane Milton as the monster storm intensifies. Our Italia Hall is live in Grand Bahama with an update from the north. Plus, the Prime Minister set to address the nation. Our Joshua Williams is at that press conference with a live update on his advice ahead of Milton. Here are your latest headlines. Ahead on Our News Live at 7:30, all eyes are on Hurricane Milton. Our News has a full team coverage of the latest as Bahamians brace for approach. Grand Bahama activates its Emergency Operations Center. Our Italia Hall is live. Plus, ready to respond. Top brass of the RBDF has a comprehensive disaster response plan in place should they need to mobilize. And later, Cable Bahamas group of companies leading the charge to empower, elevate, and enrich women.
Candino Nodes here, and thank you so much for watching. Be sure and hit that follow button if you want to see more stories like this. Be sure and follow all of the Our News social media pages. And hey, don't forget, turn on your notifications so you never miss out on top stories from the team you already trust.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home healthcare supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price, and you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you, at the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
I love my EV. I am Generation E.
I am Generation E. I am Generation E.
And I am Generation E.
Well, what you doing here?
I dig in the well to connect to the house they're building for me in Mavis.
Why you just don't call water and sewage?
Call them for what?
To get your city water. You don't have to worry about your water cutting off when the power cut off. And your water's clean and safe, free from coliform bacteria.
Cauliflower what?
Call us at 302-5500 to make the switch from well water to city water for a more fresh, reliable water supply for you and your family.
Bahamas Power and Light Company Limited looks forward to helping.
Hurricane Milton is about to deliver a once-in-a-century blow to Tampa and Orlando, with storm conditions possible in our own northwesterly islands. Welcome to Our News, and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Megan Shepherd. The U.S. government has declared a state of emergency across 51 Florida counties in anticipation of monster storm Milton, which has the potential of being the most destructive hurricane on record for West and Central Florida. Earlier today, optimism turned to concern for residents in the northwest Bahamas, now under a tropical storm warning. As we get started, here are the stories on our Hurricane Milton radar. Grand Bahama, Abaco, and Bimini sit just outside the cone of concern. Defense Force Marines ready to respond, and Bahamians in Florida bracing for impact. As we wait to get those stories, our first stop is in our weather center. Meteorologist Greg Thompson joins us for the latest on Hurricane Milton. Greg, Florida is about to get the full fury of this storm. Give us a picture of where the storm is and how many hours to impact, especially for those families in the Tampa and Orlando areas.
Well, Milton is now a Category 5 storm. Once again, it's been fluctuating in intensity, and that system is now moving over a very warm pool of waters. Basically, this is where that system is sitting. As of 5 p.m., 22.7 degrees north, 87.4 west, little under 600 miles to the southwest of Tampa. And that system will continue to move towards the northwest. Most of the rain bands are starting to impact the Florida Keys, and that system will continue to move towards the Tampa area. Of course, we are concerned about those people in Tampa, our Bahamian countrymen, and we are praying for them, making sure that they are staying safe. Of course, we do expect tropical storm conditions across the northwest Bahamas. Tropical storm winds expected in excess of 40 miles per hour. Gale warning is in effect for the remainder of the northwest Bahamas, and then we expect some significant rainfall with this system. So we're asking you to continue to pay close attention to this system as it continues to move towards us.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we know that Grand Bahama, Bimini, and Abaco are now just outside of the cone of concern. What does that tropical storm warning mean for those islands?
Well, they're going to get some very strong gusty winds up to tropical storm conditions. As I mentioned, winds in excess of 39 to 40 miles per hour, and they will continue to impact mostly those islands, the Bimini, the Grand Bahama, as well as the Abacos. So we're asking you to prepare for those. That will begin tomorrow evening as the system gets very close to the west coast of Florida. And of course, as I mentioned, gale warnings in effect for the remainder of the northwest Bahamas with some very strong winds and very rough seas. So it's going to get a little dicey tomorrow into Thursday.
Thanks so much for that. And of course, Greg joins us again later in the newscast. Prime Minister Philip Davis and a team of officials are holding a news conference at this hour over at the Disaster Recovery Management Authority. Our Joshua Williams joins us live at the news conference. Josh, what can you tell us at the hour?
Hi, yes, Megan. Of course, we're here at the Disaster Risk Management Authority's headquarters on Gladstone Road, where a press briefing is currently underway as we continue to track Hurricane Milton. Now, the Prime Minister would have just spoken a few minutes ago, and of course, he would have brought the message of preparedness, especially for those residents in Grand Bahama, Abaco, and Bimini. He's also announcing that schools on those three islands, also including New Providence, Andros, and Bimini, will be closed until Friday or until the Ministry of Education advises. He also spoke about the possibility of strong gale winds, heavy rainfall. He says residents on these affected islands should expect the rainfall to pick up by 12 noon tomorrow afternoon. And up to the time that we stepped up, Director at the Department of Meteorology, Jeffrey Simmons, was addressing reporters, updating them on the state of the storm and how they forecast to see that that system will progress. Now, of course, it's still going on. We'll have a lot of information for you. So we invite you to stay tuned to our News social media pages tonight, where we'll bring a full wrap-up of tonight's proceedings. Back to you, Megan.
Thanks so much for that, Josh. Well, the islands of Grand Bahama, Abaco, and Bimini are currently under a tropical storm warning as Hurricane Milton approaches the state of Florida. Grand Bahama is now in storm warning mode, with the Emergency Operations Center activating its operations today. Our Italia Hall, who is on the ground, spoke with the Minister for Grand Bahama and other government officials about their plans for the island. Italia, what can you tell us at this hour?
All right. Well, Megan, as you can see, I am standing directly in front of the Emergency Operations Center, and this is located on the bottom floor of the Harold de Gregory complex here in Grand Bahama. And as you would have mentioned, this Operations Center was activated earlier this morning. Here, when I visited the center, I saw a number of government agencies where they just convened to talk about their plans for Hurricane Milton and any effects we may feel here in Grand Bahama. I also had the opportunity, as you would have mentioned, to speak with the Minister for Grand Bahama, who gave this update. Let's take a look. Grand Bahama is expected to feel some effects from Hurricane Milton as early as tonight. In response, the Emergency Operations Center located on the ground floor of the Harold Gregory Government Complex Collab Unit has been activated. All government agencies and other stakeholders convened to finalize preparations for the storm. Minister for Grand Bahama Ginger Moxie says all hands are on deck.
We are the most resilient island because we've been experiencing hurricane year after year.
She adds Met officials have said that lots of rain is expected on the island.
We should also expect tornadic type system to be upon us. So we need to be prepared for anything because tornadoes are, they bring some of the heaviest types of, conditions.
Our News also speaking with Family Island Administrator for the City of Freeport, Kenwood Cartwright, who's also stationed in the EOC.
We would have had monthly meetings leading up to this point where we have been preparing all season for a moment such as this. So when we get here, we are able to make collective decisions to have the best impact for whatever life we may be able to save or whatever property we may be able to protect.
The Grand Bahama Minister is asking residents to not take this storm lightly and to prepare.
There are shelters in West Grand Bahama and shelters in Central Grand Bahama. There are no shelters in East Grand Bahama.
As for when those shelters will open to the public, Administrator Cartwright will make that decision. Assistant Director of Social Services Jody Barrow is also sharing more information for those who may go to the hurricane shelters once they are open to the public.
Ensure that they have all their neat necessities, securing documents, of course, medication, any food items that you or your household may require.
So government officials are actively working in this EOC at this very moment, and there are a few numbers they've asked Grand Bahamians to call in the case there is an emergency, and those numbers are 351-4902, 351-4903, and 351-4904. We will continue to keep you updated. Reporting for our news, I'm Natalia Hall. Back to you in the studio, Megan.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that update, Talia. Well, as she just told us, on Grand Bahama, most government and private agencies have activated their storm readiness plans. Troy McIntosh, Deputy Manager and City Manager at the Grand Bahama Port Authority, offering this bit of advice to residents on securing their homes and properties ahead of the storm.
In trees, not to put that out on the verge, to put it in a secure location on your property, because the service provider is busy with completing some of the areas that we assessed last week. And so to put it out, there's a possibility it will not be picked up. And also be reminded that once winds 30 miles an hour or above, they're going to cease service. And so we're asking residents to, if they have not done so or they begin to do so, not to do it, not to put it out. And let us go through this, because we believe that the impacts on the current trajectory should not impact us with winds more than a Cat 1. And so to hunker down, and once it's over, to reassess their property situation and address what's necessary, because we're not out of the hurricane season until the end of November.
Well, we're continuing to track Hurricane Milton as it charges toward Florida. Across the state, residents are racing to secure their homes and stock up on supplies, bracing for the impending impact of this powerful storm. Our Delvardo Emmanuel spoke with Bahamians who decided to evacuate and others who are preparing to ride out the storm in Florida.
As Hurricane Milton heads towards the Sunshine State, Florida residents are feeling the urgency of the approaching storm. Since Sunday, the U.S. National Hurricane Center says it explosively morphed into a monster storm. Over 500,000 people were ordered to evacuate in what is being declared the largest state evacuation since 2017. Bahamian Kyle Wilson is a Tampa resident. He took heed to those warnings and made his way back to the Bahamas.
But from what I'm hearing, from the mayor and from the other people that are there, that all the residents, in the evacuation zones must evacuate immediately, because there are a lot of deaths that could be potentially forecasted.
I spoke to Wilson nearly 2 weeks ago during the passing of Hurricane Helene, when he and his family decided to stay in Tampa. This time, he says, given the severity of the storm, he wasn't willing to risk it.
I don't take hurricanes lightly, right? So I've known people that did not survive the hurricanes, and Tampa hasn't experienced a hurricane I've heard since the 1920s, which devastated Tampa. So Tampa residents don't even know the severity because they haven't yet experienced it.
Meanwhile, Bahamian Tyrone Davis and his family says they're going to bunker down and ride out the storm at their Tampa home.
Since we are like at least 30 to 35 miles inland, there's no evacuation order. In our area, we kind of sit above ground, so we're kind of elevated. So we're not making any preparations yet to evacuate.
However, he's confident that they will be well.
I spent the day yesterday to board up my house. I bought this house 3 years ago, and it comes with hurricane shutter, so I spent the day doing that on both levels, and it's built pretty strong. It's got blocks from top to bottom, and it's got rebars and concrete. So we're thinking we're just going to ride it out, but if the information changes, then we'll certainly adjust accordingly.
For now, those who remain in the storm's path can only prepare for the worst and hope for the best. Reporting for Our News, I'm Darold Emmanuel.
Thanks, Darold. Late last night, the Bahamas air flight carrying Bahamians from Florida safely touched down in the capital. Students telling us they were relieved to be back home and to escape the chaos of Floridians bracing for the monster storm. Berthany McDermott was at the Lyndon Pinley International Airport last night and spoke to those students moments after they walked off their flight.
Bahamian students in Central Florida breathing a sigh of relief last night after flying through inclement weather to escape Hurricane Milton as it barrels towards Central Florida. These Tampa and Orlando students telling us the 45-minute drive to Orlando lasted 3 hours. They say the whole ordeal was scary.
I was afraid, and usually over there they don't take it as seriously as us. So when they told me to evacuate, I knew that it was like more serious than I thought.
Our parents were startled, and we were startled because we just moved to Orlando. We transferred from Benedict College to Orlando recently, and we was a bit nervous about coming back because school opened right back up on Friday. But we just was like, let's get home.
Hurricane Milton is predicted to be a major storm when it slams into Florida this week. The storm rapidly grew from a tropical storm to a major hurricane in a matter of days. Floridians are being warned to prepare for the worst hurricane they've ever experienced. These students tell us the quick decision to come home left little time to prepare.
Crazy, because we literally just booked the ticket today, so it was hectic, especially since, school still was today. We didn't have, our classes wasn't canceled.
Now, while the majority of Bahamian students evacuated through Orlando, we met this one student who traveled from Fort Myers to Fort Lauderdale to try and get a flight home. She describes conditions before she left.
They ran out of sandbags in my area, so I couldn't even batten up like that. So I just had to do the best I could and leave.
But not only students were on board that flight. Ainel Bo traveled to Florida on Sunday and had to cut her vacation short.
It was a lot going on, a lot of traffic, a lot of people just rushing to Walmart, getting water and groceries and different stuff.
So it wasn't even worth it staying there anymore?
No, it's better in the Bahamas.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Berthany McDermott.
The Royal Bahamas Defense Force is ready to assist in the Northern Islands should they be impacted by Hurricane Milton. Top brass in the Royal Bahamas Defense Force say officers are on standby with trailers and trucks full of supplies ready to be distributed. Coral Harbor Captain Glenn McPhee says they're trained to handle disasters.
There's extensive training for disaster response, mitigation procedures, and protocols for all of our teams. For example, advanced teams, impact teams, disaster assistance and response teams, or DART for short, as well as our hurricane shelter management teams.
Yesterday, the Defense Force canceled all leave for officers, mandating they all report to their various posts this morning. The team's disaster risk management officer, Captain Sonia Miller, says while the forecast cone projects the storm going over Florida, they're not taking anything lightly. She says a comprehensive disaster response plan is in place.
One of the Royal Bahamas Defense Force main goals whilst in the NEOC is to support our urban search and rescue operations, which is one of the first response activities following impact of a national disaster. We also assist with many other duties while at the National Emergency Operations Center, and we also support all of the other emergency support functions that are inside the National Disaster EOC.
Still to come tonight, Women Inspiring Women. Inspire Her, the flagship women's empowerment event, returns this Thursday. Plus, more from meteorologist Greg Thompson as we continue to track Hurricane Milton. That's coming up when our news returns.
Bahamas Power and Light Company Limited looks forward to helping our customers eliminate wasted energy. Energy conservation is the decision and practice of using less energy. Energy efficiency means using less energy to perform the same task, unplugging appliances not in use. That's energy conservation. Replacing an old refrigerator, washing machine with a new model, adding insulation to the attic and walls of a home. That's energy efficiency. People conserve to gain more control over their energy bill and to reduce demand on the Earth's natural resources. Take this journey with us as we build for better. BPL.
INTI Corporation is on the move, day by day, panel by panel. Our commitment to sustainable energy becomes more real. With each milestone, INTI redefines what is possible. Not only are the Lucayas solar power projects on the island.
Inspire Her, the flagship women's empowerment event, returns this Thursday, October 10th, for its third year. Women currently make up 51% of senior management level positions at the Cable Bahamas group of companies. Cable Bahamas Group President and CEO Franklin Butler calling the movement a movement of inspiration.
Leadership and innovation in STEM from every corner of our society, whether in technology, healthcare, sports, and arts. That is why Inspire Her curates a diverse range of voices, including leaders.
Stacey Campbell Marshall has been the Inspire Her host for the past 3 years. She says the event scope now goes far beyond STEM, with a star-studded lineup of speakers ready to connect with audiences on that night.
I'm very proud to be a part of this event because it's truly an event that I believe in. You know, this is not just about STEM, and ICT. It has broadened, and now it's for every woman out there that is just really looking for a space to be able to network, to be able to gain insight, to be able to truly be inspired. And so, this evening is, I've been telling everyone who's been calling me and messaging me, like, should I go? What do you think? And I'm like, absolutely. You just don't want to miss it, because every year the guests leave, and even me as a host, I leave just with that feeling of, I can do this.
It's now time for tonight's Financial Market Minute, brought to you by RF, your local investment bank. This has been your Financial Market Minute. To explore the best performing mutual funds in the Bahamas, visit our website at www.rfgroup.com.
Coming up in sports, Rashad Sweeting has the World Darts Championships in the crosshairs. Get it? Because darts. And Jazz Chisholm says a thing that I'm sure the national media will not blow out of proportion. It'll be fine.
Plus, Greg is back in the Weather Center with your extended weather forecast. We have the details when our news returns.
INTI Corporation is on the move, day by day, panel by panel. Our commitment to sustainable energy becomes more real. With each milestone, INTI redefines what is possible. Not only are the Lucayas solar power projects on the island of Grand Bahama growing in scale, they are setting a new standard for energy independence in the Bahamas. These state-of-the-art solar farms at the Fairfield and Devon sites, once completed, will harness the power of the sun to generate 9.5 megawatts of clean, sustainable energy. INTI is on the move as a beacon of progress and innovation that is rapidly transforming our energy landscape. Witness the future of sustainable energy unfolding on the island of Grand Bahama as INTI Corporation shines brighter than ever. INTI Corporation, powering your world, powering your future.
Bahamas, are you ready? Keep the vibe alive. Music group, along with Alpha Sounds, present the best of the best. Rake and Scrape Explosion Reloaded. This is the biggest one-day all-Bahamian concert of the year. Featuring KB, D-Mac, Avi, Mama D, Fan Shaw, Shine 242, The Falcon, and more. Mark your calendars. It's going down November the 2nd at Super Club Breezes Ground. Tickets now available at BahamasEtickets.com or both Beauty Shack locations. General admission $60. VIP, Skybox, and Skypods also available. For more info, call 394-0819 or email keepthevibealive242@gmail.com. Experience the magic once again with more legends for one night only. Come party with us November 2nd at Best of the Best. Rake and Scrape Explosion Reloaded.
Hi, and thank you for watching. I'm Italia Hall. Be sure and hit that like and subscribe button if you want to see more content like this. Click right over here. And don't forget to turn on your notifications to see more content from the team you already trust.
With some rhythm.
Welcome to Our Sports, presented by 10th Year Seniors. I'm Ronaldo Dorset. Let's do show. We've become accustomed to Bahamian athletes taking the flag to the international stage and making history. This time, one's doing it in darts. Rashad Sweeting will become the first Bahamian to ever compete in the sport's flagship event, the 2024-25 Paddy Power World Darts Championship. Sweeting qualified by winning 2 of the 4 events on the Championship Darts Latin America and Caribbean Order of Merit Series. Over the weekend, he officially confirmed his spot in the World Champs after a semi-final finish at the latest CDLC event in Santiago, Chile. He topped the CDLC standings with 56 points, 16 points ahead of his nearest competitor. Sweeting's first tour victory came in Jamaica last July. He then went on to win Event 3, 6-1 in the final over Sudesh Fitzgerald. In Sunday's final event, Sweeting again advanced to the final, but lost 6-5 to Guillermo Soto. The Paddy Power World Darts Championship will be hosted in Alexandra Place, London, December 15, 2024 to January 3, 2025. Every divisional series in the MLB playoffs is tied at 1 game apiece, setting the stage for one of those legendary postseason finishes. Jazz Chisholm Jr. hit the first postseason home run of his MLB career, but his New York Yankees showed few signs of life at the plate in a 4-2 loss to the Kansas City Royals last night in Game 2 of the American League Divisional Series. Chisholm led off the 9th inning with a solo shot to right field that traveled 375 feet with an exit velo of 106.8 miles per hour. After his home run and a single from John Birdie, the Yankees had the tying run at the plate but were unable to capitalize. Chisholm and the Yankees remained confident headed on the road despite the Game 2 loss.
I feel like this team is the best to do it, One day we get our butts kicked and the next day we're kicking butt, Like we turn around everything, We never look at anything as a downer, Come back and learn from it the next day.
The best of 5 series now shifts to Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City for Game 3 Wednesday night at 7:08 p.m. and Game 4 Thursday night at 8:08 p.m. Tennis pro Justin Roberts hoisted a championship trophy in Florida. Roberts won on the latest stop on the Professional Tennis Tournament Tour's 25K Boca Raton title, hosted at the Rick Machi Academy and Tennis Center. The country's top singles player emerged as the top finisher in the men's draw, which featured 45 players. He opened with wins over Case Shinerer of the United States, Jamie Diak from Great Britain, Sam Baumgartner from Switzerland, and Ian Mayhew from the United States. In the semifinals, he won in straight sets over American Matisse Farzam 7-6, 6-3, and in the finals, defeated Jordan Redknapp 7-6, 4-6, 6-4. After a rough start to the season for several Bahamian players in the French Pro B League, they got back into the win column in Week 3. Dominic Bridgewater and Champagne Chalons won their first games of the season after beginning the year at 0-3. He finished with 9 points off the bench in an 84-74 win over Poitiers. In Game 2, he finished with 12 points, 9 steals, and 5 assists in an 81-73 win over Vichy. Rashad Davis and the Kane Calvados got a pair of wins to improve to 3-2. He had 4 points off the bench in a 68-62 win over Toulon and another 4 points in a 77-72 win over Maurienne. Aaron Lavarity had a near double-double, 12 points and 8 rebounds for Evero in an 83-81 loss to Rouen. That'll do it for our sports. This is 10YS. Look, there's millions of dollars on the line, a trip to the World Series on the line. One comment from Jazz can't make that much of a difference, right? Bulletin board material is not really a thing, right? Back to the studio.
On the other side of this break, Greg is back in the Weather Center with a look at conditions across the country. Stick with us.
This video needs to show us on a different scale. It has to be extra.
What, eh?
Hey, Quay.
Hey, what you saying?
Where you with?
I heard you on the bus stop with my friend.
Okay, so we want to shoot this video, and it's gonna be extra.
All right, Jim. I can just come to you. All right. I need you 25 cents no more.
I love my EV. I am Generation E.
I am Generation E. I am Generation E.
And I am Generation E.
Well, what you doing here?
I dig in the well to connect to the house of building for me and Mavis.
Why you just don't call water and sewage?
Call them for what?
To get your city water. You don't have to worry about your water cutting off when the power cut off. And your water's clean and safe, free from coliform bacteria.
Cauliflower what?
Call us at 302-5500 to make the switch from well water to city water for a more fresh, reliable water supply for you and
This is our news. Welcome back. Of course, we are tracking Milton, which is now a Category 5, and that system is continuing to strengthen as it continues towards the northwest in the Gulf of Mexico, moving over a very warm pool of water. Upper level jet will actually pick the system up and race towards the northeast and across the Tampa area, and that system will continue to provide us with some showers and some isolated thunderstorms. Most of the activity we had earlier today was actually connected to another low pressure system that moved into the Atlantic. National Hurricane Center watching that, but that is going to move away, and we will concern ourselves with Milton. These are the conditions right now across the Florida area as well as the northwest Bahamas. Isolated showers and thunderstorms moving through the northern islands, Grand Bahama, Abaco, Bimini, as well as the Andros area getting some of those showers. But this system will expand the tropical storm force winds, and that's why we have a tropical storm warning for the northwest Bahamas, actually for the northern islands, Bimini, Grand Bahama, and the Abacos, and that will continue through tomorrow. Conditions going downhill tomorrow, and we are expecting some increasing winds across that area. Of course, the system will continue to move out into the Atlantic to the north of us, so that should spare us, but we will just continue to see some trailing moisture across us. So by the end of the weekend, we could see 1 or 2 isolated showers with this system as it moves in that direction. Boating forecast, we're asking you all boaters to remain in port in the northwest Bahamas. Southerly winds, they will be increasing in speed 15 to 25 knots, but they will get higher than that, 20 to 30 knots by tomorrow evening. Seas 4 to 7 feet, but they will be building 10 feet in the Atlantic in easterly swells. High tide is at 11:28 tonight, low tide 5:30 in the morning. For the southeast Bahamas, small craft caution in effect. Of course, the winds will be out of the south to southwest, 15 knots, gusting higher times, seas running 3 to 5 feet, but up to 8 feet in Atlantic exposures. Here's a look now at your national forecast. In the extended forecast, moisture will be with us Wednesday and Thursday, but look at Friday and Saturday. Much improved conditions as the system continues to move away from us. And of course, we will have some residual moisture, but temperatures should stay rather comfortable in the mid to upper 80s. Low time temperatures will be in the upper 70s. That's a look at our weather. Stay safe, everybody.
Solomon Smart Rewards at Solomon's Fresh Market.
Well, what you doing here?
I dig in the well to connect to the house I'm building for me and Mavis.
Why you just don't call water and sewage?
Call them for what?
To get your city water. You don't have to worry about your water cutting off when the power cut off. And your water's clean and safe, free from coliform bacteria.
Cauliflower what?
Call us at 302-5500 to make the switch from well water to city water for a more fresh, reliable water supply for you and your family.
KFC is giving you more to love with our KFC Bucket Meal with large size. Get the KFC Family Bucket featuring 8 pieces of juicy chicken, family fries, and 4 biscuits that feeds 4. A KFC Deluxe Bucket with 10 pieces of delicious chicken, 2 larger sides, and 4 biscuits that feeds 4 to 6. Or a KFC Party Bucket with 15 pieces of our chicken, 3 larger sides, and 6 biscuits that feeds 6. And we'll handle the dishes, plates, and utensils included, so you can lick your fingers in peace. KFC knows value, and it's finger licking good.
Well, that does it for us here at Our News tonight. And of course, we encourage you to stay tuned to the team you already trust for all of the latest on Hurricane Milton. And of course, we encourage you to stay tuned to all of our social media pages. That is Our News Bahamas on Facebook and all of the social media platforms. On behalf of the entire news team, I'm Megan Shepard. We'll see you right back here tomorrow night. Have a safe and wonderful evening.
Hi, and thank you for watching. I'm Italia Hall. Be sure and hit that like and subscribe button if you want to see more content like this. Click right over here. And don't forget to turn on your notifications to see more content from the team you already trust.